Hello, I'm David Prosser. Welcome to the last in our series of weekly webcasts for this season. I know that you were promised Anne Swerdfigger in the chair today, but Anne was unable to do it, so I have taken over, so I'm sorry for the disappointment that this will no doubt be causing Anne's fans out there. This week, we're talking about Anton Chekhov's Three Sisters, which is going to be playing at the Tom Patterson Theatre. We have with us the director of that show, Martha Henry, who's also the director of our Birmingham Conservatory for Classical Theatre. Hi, Martha.
Hi, David.
And Lucy Peacock, who's playing Masha in the show. Before we start talking about the show, I'd just like to catch up on what you guys have been doing. Martha, you've of course been very busy with the conservatory, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been out on an audition tour for next year, and then we had callbacks here, and we're in the process of trying to choose next year's conservatory. Wow. It's quite a feat.
It is, and it produces tremendous results in grooming, talented young actors to become our next generation of leading players.
We have one in Three Sisters.
Yeah.
We have several in Three Sisters, but we have one from my first conservatory year.
That's splendid. That's splendid. And Lucy, what have you been up to in the last since you were here last year, of course, doing Shrew and the Nurse and Romeo and Juliet?
Yes.
Yeah. So what have you been up to since then?
I went to Ottawa for 3 weeks and worked at the NAC doing a project that Peter Hinton does there called The Arc, which is a kind of symposium intensive, at which time I also was overseeing the National Theatre School students that were there doing that project at the same time. So I was sort of teaching and taking care of them through that project. And then I went off and did some teaching down at Bishop's University in Lennoxville, Quebec, which is my old stomping ground, and had a great time down there, helping them out down there with Shakespeare and monologues and a project that they were working on and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
No, I got to share this with the world. This just in, Lucy has just told me she owns a racehorse. And that racehorse has romped home this week.
That's right. She did, yep. At Woodbine. She came in first. It was her first start this season. And
so you'll be retiring on the winnings then after this?
Well, I don't know about that, but our children are happy that maybe there is a sort of education fund in their future. And her name's Lucy's Dolly, and she's called that because she was born the night I opened Hello Dolly here. So it was kind of encapsulated my husband and my lives, where I'm glamorizing it up on the stage and then go home and kick off those shoes and put on a pair of boots. And
now you are also a cover girl for the Fraternity of the Turf, right? You're on the cover, you think?
Well, apparently I heard that there was an article and a story about myself and Lucy's Dolly on the Daily Racing Form cover at Woodbine, which I believe is a first for Stratford, and I'm very proud of that.
Way to go, you heard it first here. Okay.
That's great.
I guess we got to get serious, or not too serious. One of the more famous things I think that Chekhov said, you can correct me if I get this wrong, but he did say that if in a play you see a gun in the first act, someone has to get shot in the fourth act. In Three Sisters, there is mention of the brother André playing the violin. So perhaps we should say that if you have mention of a violin in the first act, someone's got to play that violin. Gordon S. Miller, who plays André, Masha's brother, has actually gone beyond and above the call of duty for this particular production. And we have a little video clip, which we're going to show you, giving you a little bit more information about that. And then we'll come back and we will chat. And at home, please send us in your questions. We will do our very best to try to answer them here live in real time. So send them in. I'll pass them on. We'll try to deal with them. But first, we're going to roll this little clip.
Hello, my name is Gordon Miller, and I'm an actor at the festival here. I'm in play André in Three Sisters and Young Seward in Macbeth. And
Awesome. So I asked you to come here because we heard that you are learning how to play the violin specifically for your part in Three Sisters. Mm-hmm. So how did that happen?
Well, it started out in the fall when the part was cast, and I read through it and caught Martha Henry in the photocopy machine one day and asked her. I've always wanted to play the fiddle, particularly. I come from Nova Scotia, so it's something that I've always had in my heart as the instrument that I just haven't yet had a chance to get time with. And reading that he played the violin in the room and knowing that it was at the Tom Patterson, I figured, you know, because the Tom Patterson is so intimate, you can be right behind the audience or, you know, in close vicinity and playing a live instrument, and it would totally be effective. And so I thought maybe here's a chance where if I buckle down, I can get a chance to learn this instrument and use it for the part and kind of help create the whole experience of it, and also just got to get a little bit more on the inside of the character, and she agreed. And so at the start of the year in January, I took lessons once a week at Lon McQuaid, Chris Dalke, and yep, basically just walked in and said I need to learn this for
Fast.
yeah. I said March, and he said, all right. And he said, I you know, he said it took him 4 years to just learn the bow hand, which is often the hardest part, to get the sound that you want, to find how to make the sound that you want. And I was like, well, let's get started then, because I need to learn this by, you know, May, June, March I start rehearsals. And we just went at it, and then luckily Mark Desermo and Martha, I played for.
And Mark is the sound designer, okay.
Designer, composer, and played for him, and he noticed that I had practiced, and his partner is Trish Barkley, and she's a professional fiddle player, teacher, and an incredible lady, and they hooked up 5 sessions with her for an hour, which was really helpful to get one-on-one specific things, because with Chris at Lon McQuaid it was a half an hour, so it was just kind of here I did, played for the week, and tips, what's new for next week, and so the one-on-one really helped.
And do you play other instruments?
I do play the guitar.
Okay.
When I was younger I played piano for 4 years, so I was able to read music.
So you think you're going to be ready?
I think I'm going to be, absolutely I'm going to be ready.
Tell us then a little bit about the character of Andre and like why he's playing the violin. Just to give us, our viewers who don't know the play, maybe a little bit of background. And he's the brother of
He's the
three
brother,
sisters.
yeah. Well, you know, for him I think it's removal into his room. It's an instrument that is very isolating. It's private, I think, unless you get very good, and then you can go. But when you're practicing, you're learning how to play the violin, you kind of just want to be alone, you know?
And so how many times are you playing?
Twice.
Twice. And is it before his marriage, or?
Yes, it's before the marriage. It's actually, both songs happen just before he proposes to Natasha.
Oh.
But then there's also reference that when the fire happens in Act 3, all I do is sit and play the violin. You don't hear that. But that removal, you know, of that escape.
So is that Andre's kind of way of coping?
I think so. Yeah. Of processing, of just kind of getting the mind off of all the worries and just playing music, which is, I think, what a lot of people play music for too.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it sounds fascinating. Just 2 more questions. Is there a specific piece you're going to play in the show?
There's 2 pieces that.
Sorry, did Mark write them, or
Mark
is it?
did,
Okay, so it's not something that our audiences would know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Mark Desermo wrote one's called The Month of May, and the other one's called The Dove.
The Dove.
My personal favorite is The Month of May.
Okay.
It's more of like a fiddle tune, and the other one's a bit more of a somber legato kind of, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Come and see the show.
Yeah, come and see the show.
It's coming along really well.